thanks for stopping by. I'd like to preface this video by saying it is not a knitting tutorial, but it means to have something playing in the background while you work on your own knitting project. If you're like me and really enjoy watching videos while you work, sometimes you find that the content you like to watch is very visually engaging and you're several hours in and haven't gotten nearly as far along in your project as you would have liked to. So that is where I come in. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. We are going to continue with the Jolie Mimi Cardigan today, and if I seem a little miffed, it's because I am. I am in the midst of having a conversation, sort of, with my brother's fiance because, of course, they live in Washington, and I got a picture of my brother with a family friend, and I think the family friend's house, pretty sure, because if I can tell by the layout of the area, it does not look like, it's definitely not my parents' house. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, hey, you aren't practicing social distancing, and they just don't seem to care. And, you know, I mentioned, if you don't show signs of this, you know, illness, and you pass it on to somebody who is vulnerable, then I would think you'd feel kind of bad because you were just doing your thing and not being more careful about what you're up to. And the fact that my brother and his fiance are with this family friend, and this family friend teaches children, I don't think she's not going to go to work on Monday, and perhaps if she picked it up from my brother, who is still working, and he's mobile, so he's going from a lot of different places for his job. His fiance, she works from home at this point, but you know, that's crazy. And you know, there are people out there who don't seem to think it's a big deal, and then there are people who are. And I'm thankful that even though my state had to force people to not go out, we're still, you know, relatively abiding by those rules. At least the people I know are staying inside, except for my brother. So he's a little hard-headed, I will admit, and you know, I love him. He's family, but this is one of those reckless things, and I am upset, to say the least, that he and his fiance and this family friend are still hanging out in a group. It's like, even if it's not bad yet, you don't want it to get to that point. So, with that being said, it is very late because I was delayed coming in here, and now I'm gonna knit some more. My partner thought that the internet was down, so I called our internet provider and was on hold for way too long, and then it came back on. So it might have just been our modem and not necessarily the internet service itself. So how has your day been? I'll get off my soapbox now. And I measured this out, so I'm about halfway to 28 inches, which is the length it needs to be before I can start on the next panel. And so I gave it a measure here, and we're good, we're getting there. So if it took about basically it's like two skeins to get one panel, and I believe I have 10 skeins altogether, so that's another 2, so that's 4, so there must be, you know, a good 4 for the back, my guess is, and 1 for each sleeve, because if you think 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, yeah, so 4 for the back, 2 for each panel, and the sleeves, yeah, so that should get me about the whole kit's worth of yarn for this guy here. So here we are, and it is almost Sunday, by the way. We are 11:47 p.m. on a Saturday night, and it was a pretty good day for the most part. I got some laundry done. I washed some dishes, had some groceries come in, so put those away. I did some housework like sweeping and took out the recycling and the trash and took a shower when I got up. Had some coffee. I had 2 cups. I was extra generous today and had 2 cups, which are more like 4 if you think of like an American sized cup of coffee is like humongous. So 2 of those, so it's just basically like 4 cups. And I usually just have like 1 cup, which is about 2 cups worth of coffee in it because it's huge. Every weekend day, depends on when I get up. If I get up too late, then I usually just don't, but if it's early enough for me where I don't feel too crazy having it, or at least like wired, then I'll have some. And lately at work, when we were still at work and the coffee would be made for folks in the break area, I hadn't been getting it in time. There are some people who apparently like coffee more than I do, and they beat me to it, so I have to be there. I mean, it's like, do I want to be there super early, like before my shift just to get the coffee, or come in when I need to be there and have tea or something where I just need to use the hot water heater? So I'm kind of in a dilemma with that. But now that I'll be working from home, I make my coffee the way I like, when I want it, drink as much as I want, or at least as much as my stomach can handle and my brain, and call it a day. I had to run this report, I had to upload a file to generate a report yesterday before I left work because somebody else gave me this task. They usually do it, but magically I'm doing it now, so it's like, great, one more thing on my list. And I checked this afternoon because I had the password so I could get into the server, and I didn't see what was supposed to be generated. So I'm gonna wait until tomorrow, give it a check again. I still have the original file that I need to upload, so worst comes to worst, I'll just do it again. But I was curious because, you know, I thought some magic was gonna happen because they told me it would be ready the next day, and I'm like, I really don't want to do this on my day off, but what's the harm in checking the server? And I didn't see it there, so I was like, okay, we'll see. If worst comes to worst again, I'll just email the support crew that helps with the reports and see if they can troubleshoot why it's not coming out for me, because the person who's supposed to be doing it, I guess, is busy with something else, and they gave it to me, so I just double checked with my supervisor. I'm like, hey, I was just given this new task, and she's like, thanks. I'm like, oh, okay. Most of the time she does want to know when I'm doing something new that she didn't delegate to me, so I was kind of surprised she was cool with that. But yes, I'm trying to think, what am I gonna do tomorrow? Oh, I also painted my toenails today. I haven't done that in a long time. I really need to give myself like a full pedicure because it's spring. Well, we're supposed to get snow tomorrow, so it's not quite spring yet, but it is the spring season. And one of the things I love about spring and summer is that I can wear sandals and open-toed shoes and not have to step in snow or puddle or mud, and that's like the best. So I thought I'd paint my toenails because I got a new polish. I didn't buy it. I got it in my Ipsy subscription. So I thought I'd give it a shot, and I was in the middle of doing laundry, so I couldn't do my fingers yet. So I did my toenails, and we'll see. Usually my toenail polish lasts like 100,000 years, and my fingernail polish lasts like a day, if that. But now that I'll be working from home, I think it'll last longer. But I think instead of painting them just yet, I'll do my press-ons that I wanted to try, because I'm just about done with all the rest of the laundry that I want to do. A lot of it has to air dry, so I only do a little bit each day so that it has time to air dry before I fold it up and start a new load, because I only have so many drying racks that I can use for my laundry. So I'll probably do that tomorrow after I set up my home office. Since I brought my computer home, I was clearing out a spot for it to put on my other computer that I have, so that they'll be stacked on top of each other. So that way, I think, oh no, I can't listen to Spotify on my home computer because I still need the internet for it. And if I only have one Ethernet cord, I have to use it for my work computer. So I'll have to alternate between the two. But I thought about that longer today, and I figured I would just spend Sunday, instead of visiting with you guys, I'll work on editing some of the stuff I filmed yesterday, and then have everything ready to go so I can just upload a little bit through the week, and then film and then upload a little more, so that I'm not having to switch between both of my computers. And then there'll be more like a schedule base, because you can, if you haven't uploaded to YouTube before, you can tell it when you want it to be published. And so that's nice if you don't want them all to come out at once, or you're out of town or something and you have videos that you already recorded and are lined up, and then they'll just go based on when you tell them to. So that'll probably be all of my Sunday, so then I can actually knit more off camera, get some progress, and think about which project I want to show next on camera, because I thought more about it today as well, and I think instead of doing like the photographs of each of the patterns that I like, we could just go through the book together. But I'll have the camera, I'll probably do it with my cell phone camera, because that tripod's already set up with a better like downward angle, and then this one is like just the right angle, so I don't want to mess this one up. So I'll go with that, and we'll just look through the books together, but it'll be like a bird's eye view of what I am showing you guys, so you can see the patterns as well at the same time. So I think that'll be nice. And if you hear any racket, I don't have the decibels set to like a super sensitivity today, so you probably, I don't even know if you'll hear this, but when I had it on like 10 decibels, people could, or at least I could definitely hear when I was clicking on my needles, but my neighbors are having like game night or something, so they were anyway, like yelling, and I could hear them in this room, and my partner has been doing like crazy mad scientist stuff on their computer downstairs, so there was like some banging around earlier as well. So maybe it's all died down now that it's just about midnight. Maybe people are tired, but I don't know. So I had to charge. Also, what took a while to film today is I had to charge my batteries. I pretty much burned through both of my camera batteries yesterday just from those videos that I filmed on Friday night, and basically I can get like 2 videos out of a camera or out of a battery if it hasn't been charged in a while. So if it's just sitting there doing its thing, I get about two videos out, because it's been using its juice, I guess. Trying to think like what do I mean by that? Also, one of my friends, our very good friend, said they might not come back now until June. With everything happening, they live in California. They are in the customer or service field, mainly working in a grocery store. So they're pretty much there all the time. And with the whole outbreak going on, they have to work still, and they got in a bad accident earlier this year, and thankfully they were okay, but they might have to go to court with the person who hit them, and all of that's just taking a long time. So that's delaying things, on top of not being advised to travel right now as well. So I'm sad about that, but I told them that he needs to just think of all the cool stuff he wants to do when he gets here, so it'll be like a really nice reunion when he comes back. So I'll just have to wait, which isn't too bad. I mean, we haven't seen him, well, he was just here in December, which was nice, but it was really short, and I had to work, so it wasn't like I could take the day off to see him and enjoy the day either. So we were gonna try to hang out on like a Saturday, but their car, hey, yeah, I told you guys that story. He was in town and he borrowed his dad's car, and his dad's car died on him in the middle of the city, so he had to come home and ended up just like canceling the plans we were gonna have together. So that was a bummer. But then we ended up seeing him later as he came up to where we live, and we went out to dinner, just this place we hadn't gone before. But it could have been so much better if we had like a whole day to spend with him. But it was still nice to see him after so long. So I found a new nail polish company, and I'm so sad because I said, nope, I'm gonna be good and I'm not gonna buy any more nail polish. Now, if it comes to me free, like in the subscription services I have, that's one thing, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to buy anything new. So I did what I always do, and I just have a tab open on my phone, on my internet browser, so that when it's time to, oh phew, I thought they all slipped off on the other side. Oh, I don't like that loose. It's too dangerous. Like my heart like jumped out of my chest at that moment. So scary. But yes, so I have a tab on my phone, so when it is time to be able, when I've gone through all of my colors, evaluated all of my colors and which ones I like the most, which ones I can get rid of, then I can add to my collection again. But I think I'll continue to do this every year, where I'll just go through all of my colors and not wear any color twice, unless, you know, I have fewer than a year's worth of colors to wear, then I would wear some more. And I'm not counting like if I paint my toes the color, because toes aren't gonna really have as much wear and tear and noticeable like imperfections like if I do my fingers. So even though I painted my toenails with my sample color, I'm still gonna have to paint my fingers with it. But I have this like pinky color press on that I want to use because it's springtime. I had like some gray ones too, but I feel like I'll keep going with pink colors just to stay with the fresh and airy, Eastery, springtimey theme of pinks and purples for the next few weeks here. But that's one thing I really like. So I'm trying to think of anything else that I found lately that I want to knit. There's this site called Knitterly, and I can't remember if I don't think they're a subscription service. They may have a subscription option, but I think they're mostly like knit kits. But they kind of fall in the same line of, at least what I've seen is like knit flat, seam together type stuff. But there were some really cute patterns, and I was trying to get into All Free Knitting's website the last couple days, but it might be down or something because the page just hasn't been loading for me. And I was looking at this one article, besides the cool like funfetti sweater that I found, there was this other one I wanted to look at, which was like how to convert a crochet pattern into a knit, because I've seen so many cute crochet patterns that I don't know how to crochet at this point, and I wouldn't think I'd get to the level to be able to do a lot of this stuff without a ton of practice. But I wanted to see what the conversion is for knitting, and I was going to read it, but it wouldn't load for me. So hopefully one of these days, I imagine because of everyone kind of being stuck at home, maybe the page is getting a lot more traffic than usual because everyone has time now to look at different knitting patterns and articles about knitting to kind of just pass the time, or start a new hobby if they haven't knit or crocheted before. But I would like to know if there's a way or how to convert a crochet into a knit pattern, because there's some stuff that's just so cute. I know it won't look quite the same, but at least if there's like a general concept or rule of thumb to do, I would like to figure out what that is so I can try it myself. And there was also this cool chart on excuse me, there was this cool chart on what like a rule of thumb is for knitting different objects, like general, like a infinity scarf. Like if you're gonna knit an infinity scarf from scratch, here's your general cast on how many stitches you have to cast on based on what weight your yarn is, and like how big you want your infinity scarf to be. Like, do you want it to just wrap once? Do you want it to be more like a neck warmer? Do you want it to wrap a lot of times? And it would say like, okay, if you're using bulky, then you have to cast on this many for this size, and if you're using worsted, use this or lace. And it's like, cool, that sounds awesome, because I would love to knit more like fun, simple gifts like infinity scarves without needing to think about like a pattern in general, but just a general, not like a pattern specifically, but just in general, stockinette or something like that. So it gets the job done, it's cute, it's squishy and fun, and you know, depending on whoever I'm knitting for, if they have a favorite color, then I can just like churn out a bunch of cute scarves for them. So I'm excited to look at that article more closely, or at least look at the little chart to kind of get an idea of what the key is, so I can think of ways to bust through some of my yarn stash that I have, especially those smaller batches of yarn that I've used already, or some of the small bits that my friend gave me that I don't really have enough for like a brand new project, but I could use it to incorporate with like maybe a mismatch type of stripey thing. And I was thinking infinity scarf might be the way to go, because then I can get like a bunch of the same yarn weight and different colors and just give it like a little patchwork kind of feel to it. Something fun like that. Cool. So let me know, what is your favorite yarn busting project? If you have a bunch of odds and ends of yarn together, what do you like to do? Do you have a go-to project when you know you have some scrap yarn that you need to get rid of and you just like have an easy to do project? Like, yes. And maybe not so much a hat, but it might be a hat. I'm thinking like maybe I don't have enough for a hat, and I don't want to knit like, not all of it's the best kind of yarn for specific projects like socks or pot holders, because it's not wool, or scarf in general because it's not enough to knit like, well, you could probably do like one chunk of a scarf in a color, but they're all different yarn brands, different materials and weights. So what are your yarn busting favorites? So thinking now for Sunday, what to do Sunday. My tasks include something with my nails, the rest of my laundry. Oh, by the way, if you like Old Navy, maybe it's still going on by the time this becomes a live video, but they have a 50% off sale, and I took it as an opportunity to buy some new house shoes, because I wear house shoes all the time because I have kitties and there's fuzz all over all the time. Doesn't matter how many times I sweep the floor, there's always fuzz on the floor somewhere. And I also got a lot by 4 new work shirts for my partner, because they wear polos at work and they barely have enough polos to get them through 1 week. And I know I've ranted about this before, where they'll wear their shirt once, even if they don't have it stained, even if they didn't like sweat in it or do anything super laborious where it would start to smell funky, and every day they just throw it in the wash, and every weekend I wash all their shirts again and hang them to dry. So they're gonna get worn out very soon. Yeah, so I bought them 4 new that was a tickle. That was just a tickle. Got them 4 new shirts from Old Navy, and that was like the biggest splurge that I did, because I also got flip-flops that we wear in the house for our house shoes, because they're just easy to slip on and walk around and not step on cat fur, and to squish crazy bugs that might get in my way. But yeah, just about out of time. I thought I had 30 seconds, and I guess my little end of the video spiel lasted longer than that. So I just want to say thanks so much for tuning in or watching, listening, whatever you are doing while you pass the time while this video is running. I hope it was good for you, because I hope that it provided you with that background noise you needed to do your own project. And thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.